to make Hi, my name is Daria. Welcome to Scrum Master video series where I give you practical tips on how to build awesome teams. And since it's the first time we've seen each other in 2019, Happy New Year! Have you made your resolutions yet? I definitely didn't, because that's not kind of the practice I like to follow, because oftentimes it just feels a little bit artificial and very short term. Instead, I would like to share a different practice with you, the one that will help you organize your year and to work with your team from the get-go. So, what's really wrong with resolutions? Well, first of all, aren't they made to be broken? Have you ever wondered why that is? I personally think that a lot of the resolutions people make are generally quite unrealistic. They're kind of wishful thinking that makes us overwork and still be disappointed at the end. That's why instead of making resolutions, why don't we set expectations for our teams and for ourselves? Setting expectations is something that you should be doing when you're going into a new team as a Scrum Master, in addition to all other things that I've covered in one of my previous videos. Scrum Master role is very unclear to many people, and quite frankly, a lot of times it's just misunderstood. So when you're coming into a new team, and especially a new company, you might find out that people expect very different things from you than what you think you should be doing in your role as Scrum Master. I already had experience working with some of the teams that had very different expectations from my role than I actually anticipated when going into the assignment. One of the teams I worked with specifically just expected me to be there to organize their sprint events, to take notes, to collect a bunch of useless metrics, to update their Scrum board, and to even do some kind of performance reviews on who is the best person in the team, which obviously was going against what I really believe the Scrum Master should be doing. The team would get very defensive when I would ask questions about the ways they're doing the work or make suggestions to improve their processes. It was not going well for them, and obviously it was not going well for me because we were not on the same page. And I think in part it was my mistake because I did not set up the right expectations with this team from the start. As you step into the role of a Scrum Master, you will find out that many people will have their own way of seeing your role. And it is crucial for you to set up the expectations from the start to make sure that your role is understood by the people you will be working with. There are a couple of different ways of how you can approach setting expectations. First of all, you can gather the whole team together and run a session so that everybody gets the same message at the same time. Or if you prefer, you can meet with each team member one-on-one and do the same thing separately. The first part of the talk is to talk about what the team should be expecting from you. Explain to them that you're here to help them improve their ways of work. At first, you will be very observant and won't say much, especially in the first couple of weeks. But as the time passes, you will start asking a lot of questions regarding their processes and the ways they do things and the ways they work together. And quite frankly, most of the time, you will be asking a lot of very difficult questions that they don't want to hear. And they need to be ready for that. And it is not because you're just that annoying, but it is because this is the best way to help them understand how themselves they can improve their ways of working without anyone telling them what to do. Remind them that you're nobody's manager and that you're not there to collect any kind of performance metrics and then report it back to the management team. You're there to help them improve, and if you do start to collect some kind of metrics, it is for the team to understand how they can improve their ways of work. Reassure them that another part of your role is to protect the team from interruptions, external and internal. And yes, the team themselves might be acting counterproductive sometimes, and you're there to help them realize that. This is where your role comes into removing impediments to team's progress. Tell them that you're also there to create a bridge between them and the executive team and the organization as a whole. They can count on you to fight the status quo and things that don't make sense. The second part of the talk is to let the team know what you will be expecting from them. Tell them that most of the time when we are getting used to or doing things in a certain way, it becomes very difficult to look at the situation from a different angle and to find ways to make it better. So the team should be ready to question their reality and listen to what you have to say about the ways they can improve their processes, even if they think it doesn't make sense because, well, it's just the way the things work. Ask them to be honest. Trust and transparency are the pillars of Agile and Scrum. If people are starting to withhold information or want to sound better or worse, you will not be able to make good decisions. And it means you'll be wasting team's time. Let them know that it doesn't matter who brought the bad news, and you are not there to figure out whose fault it is. You're there to help the team improve. And to do that, you need honest and on-time information. In addition, I would ask them to commit to change. You're brought to the team for a reason that you're an expert in Agile and Scrum, and you know how to help the team improve, and that's the only goal you have in mind. As long as they commit and really try to do things, even if they don't believe in them just yet, this is where the change will happen, because if they always push back and if they always try to avoid any kind of change, then it's not going to work, and only with the commitment from the team will you be able to make changes. Close the discussion, remind the team that positive changes do take a lot of time and it will be a tough journey, but the good thing is you're there with them in the same boat and you will help them succeed with this change. Once you have this talk with your team, you know that the first step in the right direction has been taken. And it will be much easier for you to challenge the common misconceptions about your role, as well as to expand expectations around it. This technique can be used not only with your development team, but in all other different situations that it can help you set expectations not only around your role, but around other roles as well. For example, if you have a new product owner coming into your team, you can have a setting expectation sessions with them to help the team set expectations to the product owner, as well as from the product owner to set expectations to the team. And that's how you will be able to build a strong team that knows what to expect from each other and can also hold each other accountable to meeting those expectations. There you go, a clear way to set expectations with your team as a Scrum Master. I hope you learned something new today that you will be able to use in your work right away. Now I have a question for you. Have you ever had a sit down with your team to talk about your role? Whether you have or not, what would you say to them to help them understand what you will be doing as a Scrum Master on their team? Head down to SCRUMMASTERED.com blog and leave your answers in the comments. And while you're there, subscribe to my newsletter. You'll get access to exclusive downloads and special offers, as well as some useful tips and tricks that I only share via email. Keep being the change agent our business world needs. Cheers and Scrum on!